In China, the Qingming Festival is a time when the veil between the living and the dead feels thinnest. But for Qiao Renliang's parents, this year's Qingming wasn't just about a routine visit to his grave. After 10 years of carrying a heavy silent pain, they finally found the strength to open a door that had been locked tight for a decade. By the way, for those of you wanting to grab some official Tracers merch, everything is live right now. We've got hoodies, tank tops, mugs, tumblers, phone cases, and a whole lot more. You can check it out by clicking the link below. It's fully integrated right here into the video. Behind that door, there was more than just memories. There were pill bottles scattered everywhere, a deafening silence, and one final haunting sentence: "I'm tired." But as we dig deeper into what really happened to Qiao Renliang, we begin to realize that he wasn't alone. There is a familiar shadow lurking behind the death of actor Yu Menglong last year. A pattern that is systematic, dark, and deadly. Welcome to the side of the entertainment industry that rarely gets talked about, because you never know how deep this hole goes. The Qingming Festival is a moment for the people of China to honor those who are no longer with us. And as expected, actor Qiao Renliang's name is trending once again. Last year, even though he's gone, his name still dominated the search bars. And on this year's Qingming, his aging parents finally opened a door that had been shut for 10 years. A room inside a villa, a table cluttered with scattered medication, and a short, simple phrase: "I'm tired." So, how much of the entertainment industry's dark side and the sheer cruelty of human nature is hidden behind all of this? Qiao Renliang once starred in a Shanghai-based drama alongside Huang Xiaoming and Chen Xiaoen. Huang Xiaoming played the triad boss, while Qiao Renliang played a wealthy young master. With subtle eyes and nuanced gestures, he perfectly captured a man who seemed cold on the outside, but was deeply tender within unspoken love. An arrogant facade, but a heart of gold. His performance was so full of life that people became instant fans. Looking back now, it feels like a different world. Someone who shone so bright, gone so suddenly. His fans wept without end. From his days on My Hero to his debut, those who witnessed his struggle can now only look back and remember. The one who was once here is now gone. Tears soak the clothes of spring. The word regret will never be enough to describe it. Qiao Renliang and Yu Menglong were both known for their striking looks, and their stories are both riddled with question marks. Questions that have kept fans searching for the truth, sometimes even pushing boundaries they weren't meant to cross. That's why, on this year's Qingming, Yu Menglong's name completely vanished from Weibo. A man with 20 million followers wiped away, officially silenced. In his place, fans pushed Qiao Renliang's name back to the trending page. Maybe many of you don't know who Qiao Renliang was. Today, we're going to discuss why, even after 10 years, his fans still can't let him go. On the 16th of September 2016, actor Qiao Renliang was found dead in his Shanghai home. He was only 28. The official cause? Depression. At the time, his career was just hitting its peak. He was talented, beloved, and in the prime of his life. The news shattered the industry. Then, all that remained was 10 years of long silence. An official conclusion was drawn, and all the questions were slowly suppressed. Until today. On Qingming 2026, his parents finally chose to speak out for the very first time. His father said that before his son passed, he had suffered from insomnia for nearly 20 consecutive days. Just imagine not being able to sleep for 20 days. That's not just being tired. That is a mental state on the brink of collapse. a body being eroded piece by piece. The day before he passed, which coincided with the Mid-Autumn Festival, Qiao Renliang still had dinner with his family. At that table, he only uttered one quiet sentence: "I'm tired." So, his father, sitting next to him, reflexively patted his son's shoulder. In that moment, he felt something strange. His son's shoulder felt unnaturally stiff. Later, doctors explained that it was muscle tension triggered by depression, a final distress signal from his body. But at the time, his father didn't know. The next day, the nightmare began. When his father arrived at the villa, all he saw was a table covered in scattered pills. He only recognized one melatonin, a sleep aid. The rest, bottles he didn't know and didn't even dare to think about. Throughout his life, Qiao Renliang always kept his curtains tightly drawn. He told others it was because he was memorizing scripts. The injuries on his body, he claimed, were from filming. Hearing it now, it's heartbreaking. A son trying with all his might to hide his undoing, not wanting to worry his parents, not wanting anyone to know, and he succeeded, until finally, he just couldn't hold on anymore. A netizen once wrote in the comments, "Being a good, obedient child is the ultimate curse." I've read that sentence over and over again. In this latest public statement, the focus remains the same: depression. This conclusion hasn't changed since 2016. But the public is still asking, why did a pair of parents who lost their son have to wait 10 years before finally choosing to speak on Qingming? In that interview, they also touched on one crucial point. For these past 10 years, they've been constantly hurt by internet rumors. So the question is, what kind of rumors could drive a pair of silver-haired parents to finally stand up and speak after 10 long years? Let's put that question aside for a moment. Now, let's talk about something else. In the comments section of the interview, a flood of messages appeared. Give back the money you borrowed. You know who you are. Pay up. Qiao's father mentioned that during his life, his son was incredibly loyal and cared deeply for his friends. He had lent tens, even hundreds of thousands of yuan to help others. But after he passed, some people refused to acknowledge the debt. Some simply refused to pay. The netizens remember it all clearly. But the question is, was money the only thing left behind? And what makes it even more disturbing is that this isn't the only story like this. In the early hours of the 11th of September 2025, at the Sunac Shangdong residential complex in Beijing, actor Yu Menglong reportedly passed away after falling from a building. He was 37 years old. The Beijing police were quick to close the case, ruling that there was no foul play involved. Shortly after, various posts across the internet began to vanish, and those attempting to dig deeper were met with immense pressure. Yet, waves of doubt kept crashing in like a tsunami. Why? Because too many things just felt off. Following the incident, several parties linked to the case rushed to release public statements, desperately trying to distance themselves and sever any perceived ties. Reports surfaced that the CCTV footage from the complex had been destroyed. At the same time, as the case began to heat up, a number of high-ranking executives from Tianyu Media, the agency representing Yu Menglong, reportedly disappeared from the public eye one by one. Rumors began circulating online that Yu Menglong had rejected the unspoken rules of a powerful producer. It's claimed that from 2020 to 2023, he was effectively blackballed for 3 full years. During that period, he almost completely vanished from the spotlight. This year, he had finally managed to push through those dark times and secured 2 new drama projects. His fans were hopeful, saying, "Spring has finally arrived." No one could have predicted that at the tail end of summer, heading into the early days of autumn, he would fall in the middle of a Beijing night. In the midst of the rumors, one name kept coming up. A central figure surnamed Xin, who is said to hold the reins at Tianyu Media. Claims suggest their family wields massive influence in Hubei, with alleged ties to powerful political and business networks. Yet, no mainstream media outlets have addressed this openly, at least, not until this video was made. It's important to emphasize that all of this remains unconfirmed rumor. But the fact that these theories have spread so wildfire fast points to one thing: many people no longer fully believe the official answers. Now, let's look at these two side by side. Qiao Renliang, 28 years old, 2016 in Shanghai. Yu Menglong, 37 years old, 2025 in Beijing. Both were young actors, both had striking standout looks, and both were at a pivotal point in their careers right before they suddenly passed away. Both were swiftly met with official conclusions from the authorities. And immediately after, any related discussion seemed to be systematically suppressed, posts deleted, reach restricted, and even specific accounts were banned. Among the public, there's a growing sentiment that their deaths share a chilling resemblance. Both were rumored to have faced immense pressure from the industry's power players. But again, we must emphasize, these are only rumors. There is no official confirmation, and we have no way to verify them. However, there is one thing that remains a matter of fact. To this day, there has never been a complete, transparent, and public investigative report regarding Yu Menglong's case. It took Qiao Renliang's family 10 years before they finally chose to speak out. What they revealed were the agonizing details of his depression. But as for why he spiraled into that depression, they didn't explain. And in the Chinese entertainment industry, those unspoken rules aren't exactly a secret anymore. In 2018, the Me Too wave swept the globe, and for a moment, a wave of public disclosures emerged in China. But shortly after, everything was pushed back down. Those who spoke up had their accounts silenced. Those who exposed the truth were summoned, even sued, with no clear resolution. This isn't just about one or two people anymore. This is a systemic issue. Behind the perpetrators, there is a shield of power. While for the victims, the remaining choices are often only two: stay silent or be silenced forever. Yu Menglong, 37 years old. Qiao Renliang, 28 years old. Their youth, their talent, even their lives seem to vanish into the darkest corners of this system. And the system itself is never truly held accountable. It's still there, and it will keep creating the next victim. And that is exactly what makes this topic feel so suffocating today. Qiao Renliang's parents eventually left us with one sentence: in the next life, don't be such an obedient child, just be a child who is loved. I sat with that sentence for a long time. A child who, because they were too understanding, swallowed all their pain alone. Afraid to worry their parents. Afraid to ask for help. Afraid to offend anyone. In a normal society, if there is violence, it can be reported. If there is a violation, it can be sued. If there is injustice, it can be voiced openly. But in that environment, he chose silence. And that silence, who was it actually forced by? I don't have the answer. But one thing I do know, as long as that system exists, there will always be a next victim. Someone experiencing the same thing, just like what happened to Qiao Renliang and Yu Menglong. It is now Qingming in China. People believe this is the time when the living and the departed feel the closest. If they could somehow know, would they hope for someone to say the things they never got the chance to say? We might not be able to uncover the whole truth, but at the very least, we can say one thing: silence never means it didn't happen. To this day, Yu Menglong's case remains a void without an official report, while Qiao Renliang's family had to wait a decade just to find the courage to speak. His parents' message was simple: don't be such an obedient child, just be a child who is loved. That sentence is a slap in the face to a system that forces its victims to stay silent forever. We might not be able to change the past, but by refusing to forget, we ensure their voices aren't truly lost. Because, in the end, silence never means it didn't happen. I'm Sean. Thanks for watching. And if you're still watching this, maybe you're looking for the same thing I am.